Great Scott.
Great Scott.
Great Scott.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another fabulous episode of Great Scott. I'm Scotty V. Thanks for watching. September 12th into the 13th, 2020 was the second time DC did Fandom, and all of the Superman events got pushed to that weekend. I've just finished watching Superman, the Man of Tomorrow, which was already released at the end of August in digital format, and September 8th it was released in DVD and Blu-ray. The interesting thing about this is, all during the show, they made it available during this Fandom, and as you were watching it, at the bottom of the screen would come up, own it digitally right after the premiere, because initially it was meant to be that weekend, the weekend it came out. So everything that they set up with this was meant to entice you to want to buy it. I like the fact that it was on here because I did not buy it because I was hoping it would be on one of the streaming services at some point, and I try to budget my money, and I'm also not someone who is buying movies to own anymore. I do sometimes buy the ones that are Superman related as a collectible piece if there's something with it, or if it's just something I want to have as part of my Superman collection. But I don't generally buy movies anymore. I see them in the theater if I want to, or I wait for them to come out on one of the streaming services and I watch them then. So with this HBO Max that's going to have the shows that were on the DC Universe app all coming together, I was sort of waiting for that to all get spun back out into whatever it's going to be, and I figured at some point all of the DC animated movies would be on there and I could just watch them anytime I wanted. Of course, it's going to be a while, so the other option is to buy it digitally or on DVD, both of which were available before the weekend of September 12th, 13th, which is when this was made available, and they called it the whole, be among the first to watch it. It's the world premiere of Superman, the Man of Tomorrow, but it's really not, because anybody who wanted to rush out and get it has already gotten it. And anybody who wants to see it now that hasn't seen it could get it. So it was a weird whole setup, and it's just another thing that makes Superman fans go, we kind of know that we got pushed aside, and Superman got pushed aside, as he often seems to do, and they moved this to the following month, when it was meant to be the month before, and you can see it by everything that people say on the panel about this, and go out and buy it. It's going to be available. It's coming right after the premiere. No, it's already available. All of that being said, I really enjoyed this movie. I love the animation. I've been hearing people say they hate the animation. I'm sure there are people out there saying they love it. I really do like it. I watched the panel about this movie, and they talked about how they were sort of given the okay to do something different than the style of the New 52 animation that they have been doing in the Warner Brothers animated series so far. And so they decided to use these thick and thin lines and sort of make it look as if it were hand-drawn like a comic book. I don't know if it necessarily looks like that, but I do really like how it looks. It's very smooth. The colors are very vibrant and look very, very nice. And the flying, I realize it's animation, and people, well, they can make anybody do whatever they want in animation, so of course the flying looks good, but it just, I really like the way they do it. It's like effortless. He sort of just floats and levitates, and the movements are very smooth and fluid. I really like it. I like the story points. I like what they've done with some of the characters. Some people may be disappointed that they changed some of the characters around in order to fit the narrative that they're trying to put forth for us, that they changed some of the characters' origins or some of the ways the characters interacted. Of course, this is another version of Superman first coming of age in Metropolis for the first time and showing himself to the world for the first time, so some of the complaints I was hearing were, haven't we already seen this, or why are they changing this up again, or this isn't the way it happened. And I think anytime you see that, just like if you're talking about Man of Steel, or if you're talking about the Richard Donner Superman movie, those are their own versions of him becoming Superman, or him arriving in Metropolis, or him being sent away from Krypton. This doesn't have the sent away from Krypton stuff so much, but there is some mention of it. There is some of that in there. They said on the panel it's not really an origin story. It's more like he's already here. He already is who he is, but it's sort of him finding his way in Metropolis. There is some origin stuff. I don't want to give too much away in terms of spoilers. And Parasite plays a big role, and that was a little odd, some of the stuff they did with Parasite, but I liked the character-driven stuff, the emotional stuff with all of the characters. There are a lot of great smaller scenes. There are a lot of scenes where pretty interesting dialogue. There's some emotional stuff. Perry White looks really, really weird, but he's a funny character. He's an interesting character. Lois is great. The voice acting is great. It's very, very good. And I'm very happy that it was made available with this fandom thing. So, in as much as I started this by saying how weird it is and the fact that Superman sort of got relegated to second, we as Superman fans this weekend did get a few things, and being able to see this not having bought it yet and not having a streaming service that it's available on yet was very nice. I got to watch it. It was only available from 1 p.m. September 12th to 1 p.m. September 13th. But that being said, you can still buy it. It is available digitally. It is available DVD or Blu-ray, and it will eventually be on some streaming service somewhere. But it's really cool. The trunks are there for you guys out there who really like the uniform with the trunks. It's the red and blue and the yellow, and it looks really good. He's even got the spit curl. The only thing missing is the still yellow flowing S on the back of the cape, and as we've all been told, they say that it's very difficult to animate, and the amount of work you have to put into that every single time, just they've decided isn't worth all of the trouble that it causes. So there is some missing aesthetic there, not having that on the back of the cape. A few times when he would land and you'd see him from behind, I'd go, I wish that the yellow S was on the back of the cape, but it's not being there doesn't destroy the uniform, because it, as you can see, it looks really, really good. And it's a great addition to the animated universe. It's not definitive, it's not the origin, it's not what you must believe the Superman story is. It's just another possibility of what it could have been, or what it could be, or just a movie to enjoy about Superman. And that's really all I'm looking for, and I found it very gratifying and satisfying in a lot of ways. Check it out when you can. Thanks everybody for watching, and remember, always look up in the sky.